at the same time, this showcase has such a clear unifying narrative arc. So I'm wondering how you balance that.
Yeah, for me, it's not as though these things are in opposition to each other. It's really the strong narrative really is the impetus on which people layer on their ideas. And I think like you can have them be in competition, but I think like the best way to have it is to have a strong idea which everyone gets behind, but then give everyone the freedom to like elaborate within that. And like our thing is really, I mean, now people have been shown in such kind of a two-dimensional light for, especially in Chinese dance, but in general, like regional dialects have been shown as kind of ahistorical or just kind of uncouth. And it's like, it's relatively easy to do a show where we portray the full sweep of Minnan life as both historical peoples as well as current and future peoples. And so when that's your remit, there's a room for everybody's story. And that's also kind of the message we have, is that no matter where you come from, no matter where you feel or how you've been treated in the past, like there is room for everyone, there's beauty in everyone.
Oh, that's such a good answer. Questions from our audience
is the right word. Maybe that's wrong, but did folks just choose what they wanted to do, or kind of how did you think about what types of dances to include?
Does anyone want to take that, or maybe I'll go first? Yeah, so I think at our core we are a Chinese dance company, and so I think you can kind of tell. It's the ones first two rows back and up, all of the Chinese dance props. But I think we were really like our emphasis is on the story. So whoever was the right fit to tell the story, you were in, no questions asked. So if that's a contemporary dance, if that's Bharatanatyam, if that's like chilling, if that's Chinese yo-yo, like every piece had its place. And it's really like when you saw it and when you saw someone with a real connection to Indonesian Hokkien culture, to like modern Taiwanese culture, whenever you saw that, I think it really spoke for itself. It wasn't really a hard directorial decision. Like you heard it pitched from the like artist, and like you could see the passion even at that early stage. And I think that's really what took it away. It was really quite easy. I wonder if any of the historically non-Chinese dancers have anything to say about the process of working in this company or anything like that. No?
I appreciate the range of different props and different styles. There's a lot of different voices present.
Yeah. And I think like that's kind of like, we don't all have to be the same, we don't have to look the same, but we all do belong.
I don't know how to use props.
Are there any other questions from our audience? Yeah.
It was beautiful how you wove in the intergenerational layer with the audio conversation, like oral history narrative. I'm curious, like I know there were comments in the program about some of the music was recorded by like a grandmother, or this came through suggestion, right? I'm curious, like for whoever wants to share, like how was your process? What was that process like for you in preparing for your quote unquote solo piece? But it's not really a solo piece, right? Like it's in dialogue with your own roots, with your family members. Just curious what kind of journey, that was like for you in the process of preparing your dance.
Somebody, you want to take that?
So I believe the music you're referring to is from the piece Spring, and it's recorded. It's the lyric because it's originally a Mandarin song, and we can't find a Taiwanese version, so we decided to pick on that ourselves. And my mom translated the lyrics and adapted it a little because it's different languages into Taiwanese, and then my cousin, my grandma, like works together for that for that song. And for me, that just feels really natural because I grew up in Taiwan with my grandma and with my parents. We all lived together up until like 15 years old. So, and I've started classical Chinese dance since 4, and my grandma was there every step of the way. So, yeah, it's really sweet, and it just feels natural that they're a part of it, and I'm a part of it, and it's really heartwarming that they're all a part of this.
Yeah. I think like one of the great things that we're really proud of here is that you see all these people on stage, but you see the program and you see how many pages it keeps on going with all of the people who are behind the scenes, from Alex to Jimmy Wing, who's in Southern California, so our Southern California vocal artist, we have the capacity to like take that family connectedness, that intergenerational strength, but also then we're able to like master it and like put it to the lyrics and make everything keyed up nice and in a pretty professional way. And I think that speaks to the strength of the company, that we have the technical capacity to do things like commission new covers of songs, or to commission entirely new music, like the Bharatanatyam collab is an entirely new musical score, which you just heard for the first time this night, as well as like the Taiwanese version of Spring is the first time that's ever been performed for a public audience. So I think like being able to have that deep technical bench of behind the scenes artists and technicians really enables the people who are on stage and everyone who stands behind them to really tell their story. And I think what we saw is that family is always a part of everything we do as artists, but so often it's like fading in the background and it's not credited on stage or on the programs. You see the dedication, it's to our parents and our grandparents, like you see it in the like poster outside, and we really want to make sure that like here you really feel that intergenerational strength, that love, that pain as well, and like working through it with kindness, with love, and with strength. And I think that's really what we tried to do, and that's what our deep technical bench enables us to do as a company.
I think we have time for one more question. I saw this hand in the front first.
Was there a certain concept that drove this, the whole performance?
Yeah, so I think the concept was really that a lot of us have this experience of maybe not fitting in, and it can be a number of reasons, like the inaugural thing you heard of, like the kids' first day of school and getting like shamed by the teacher for speaking their mother tongue. Like that's a story that like many of us here on the stage experience, but also like we all go through life, like we never quite fit in, and there's all sorts of circumstances where it feels like you're alone and all the powers of the world are arrayed against you, but you're never really alone. And it's like, I think we wanted to like show that, to show that you're really not alone, we needed to show a full diversity of the human experience of everyone here, of all the different things, great happy moments, sad and things in between that people go through, to show that like, no matter where you are in life, no matter what your background is, no matter like how hard the outside world is, like those experiences are real, they do matter. But that's not the end of the story. There's always a bigger community that stretches backwards in time, it stretches across seas, and it stretches into the future at the end of the day. And if we have anything to say about it, it will be bridges to the future based on love. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to our show. This is Bay Area Independent Chinese Dancers' very first show, very first produced show. Both pieces were sold out, so thank you so much to our community for making it happen. Of a show being sold out is that we know there are people who we'd love to be here tonight but couldn't make it, or there weren't seats for them. We are performing a number of pieces from this show next Saturday, May 11th at 3:25 p.m. in Union Square in San Francisco as part of the Taiwanese American Cultural Festival, which I think everyone can appreciate is a perfect venue for these pieces. So tell your friends, tell anyone who couldn't make it. And then the other thing is, it's amazing that like I'm sitting here saying this as at the company's first show, but we have already been nominated. We are finalists for SF Gates Best of the Bay Area Family Night Out. And it is a popularity contest. So, on the SF Gate website, in the entertainment and leisure section, there's a section called Best Family Night Out. It's on all of our social media. You are allowed to vote once per day, per email address, until the 6th of May. So we encourage you to do that, and that way, if we do manage that, it will enable us to share these precious stories and many more in the future with more audiences going forward. So thank you so much for everything. Thank you to all our behind-the-scenes people, our amazing technical people here and in Southern California and all across the world. Thank you so much. Canning Street Coffee, which is running concessions. They're a Malaysian American bakery from Oakland, also telling original stories across the world in food. So go get that. And then at the front here, Rebs will light our twin lights of the bunga mas. These are Malaysian gold and silver trees. You'll see that there are leaves there on which you can write your feedback on the show. We also have our Jing, our secondary videographer, who might be doing some interviews, so feel free to tell him what you thought about the show. We'll be hanging out for now. The next show starts at 8 p.m., so make sure everyone has been fully turned over by then. So thank you very much. Have a good night.
Tonight, before we're gonna do a little Q&A with the cast in a second, but first we wanted to do a big thank you to our director, ideator and people mover. They're making everything like come together and really making it possible for all of us to share our stories and our art. And it's really incredible thing. So thanks so much. And I want to give a little thank you to all the incredible cast members that, you know. This one. We have more. Thank you. Sweet. And it's for Alex and everybody.
As Genevieve alluded to, we're now going to have a little Q&A where you can ask anything to this wonderful company. I'll start us with a little warm-up question. Sean, I'm wondering, I think it's so cool that this showcase had so many diverse dance styles and like performance forms, and at the same time had this really clear unifying arc. So I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit about how all of these different styles feed into the same piece.
Yeah, I think like there's a world in which you like those two things, having a unified theme and having like lots of different people and having a place for everyone in the company can conflict. But our story is really about like for anyone who's felt left out, either because of language or because of the racial dynamic of the country that you're in, or for any other reason, and that can be a really lonely experience. It can feel like you're alone. And what we really want to say is like, it feels sad in the moment, yes, but you're not alone. Like this has happened before, it happens now, it will probably happen again in the future, let's be realistic. But that's not the whole story, it doesn't end there. And in Chinese dance and in regional culture, historically we've really like essentialized and exoticized regional things like Minnan culture. Either it's like noble savage or just kind of savages. And we really wanted to show the full breadth of Minnan experiences in all of the countries where they live as people firmly rooted in their home countries, but still serving as a bridge between culture. And so if that is the narrative, then to serve the narrative correctly, you must be inclusive and you must bring in everyone who's possible. You must have contemporary dances there. It's natural that there be Bharatanatyam, it's natural that there be Chinese yo-yo. And so for me, it's like, it's not just, inclusivity is a value in and of itself, but it's really, here it's in service of story. Yeah.
Good answer. I'm wondering if we have any questions from our audience here today. Yeah.
Who would be a mother and daughter in the voice track that was played?
Yeah. So they're both born in Taiwan. They moved here to the United States together. as a group, as a family, and so they're based in San Diego, and you can see their names in the program attached. Yeah, I don't want to mangle their names on the record.
Are there any other questions? Oh yeah.
I was wondering if you could share a bit more about the story behind. Oh, sorry, it's hard to get to you.
That's okay.
That's all the feedback.
Hi, thank you so much. I was wondering if you could share a bit more about the story behind the partner dance, the two women who were doing the partner dance.
Oh. I do contemporary dance, so it's not a it's not very literal. I picked a song. I grew up in Taiwan, and under martial law, my parents were always whispering, so that's where I picked this song. But when I was creating the duet with my dance partner Elise, we didn't really assign. The song is about a mother who can't find her grown son, just disappeared because it probably a dissident who got taken away, killed, in the middle of the night. So, but we never talked about who's what roles we were playing, So we were both. I think it's just like, for me, it's just like in life, we're like, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a son, so it's everything. So for us, it's that relationship that we're playing with in our duet. Yeah. So it's whatever you read into it too.
Any more questions? Yeah, here.
You can have a mic.
Hi, this is, I'm still thinking about the question, but this is, I think, for Cam. I believe, yes. So I might be saying it incorrectly, but like the one like with the sleeves. But I wanted to ask about your piece, Genevieve. Oh, Genevieve. Sorry, Genevieve. So Genevieve, the question was mixing, I guess the more cultural dance with, say, elements of hip hop and stuff. How were you? Just out of curiosity, what was your thought process and how you blended and genre blurred those particular styles, in particular with music, and just what was your inspiration? I was just curious to know, because it was a very beautiful mix, and I thought it was very fascinating to see how to musically, like hip hop music and the music that you dance to were maybe a lot just different dynamically with like percussion and other things as well. So it was really curious. It was really beautiful to see how you kind of blurred and whatnot. So I was just curious to know. Yeah. If you want to say anything about it.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. I guess with this piece in particular, when Sean approached me with the song and sort of like the premise of what if we did like a sort of open style choreography to this particular piece, because there was an inspiration with open style to that song already. And when I saw that and heard the song as well, so my background, so I'm Taiwanese American, like half Taiwanese, and my father's side is like American white, and I've trained in a lot of different styles growing up, including like ballet, and then more recently in the Bay Area with like hip hop and house dance and rocking, etc. So I think in a way, fusing that into my movement has always been natural, because it's like an expression of myself and an expression of my identity, where I've grown up and where I've lived. So then tying into like the Chinese dance roots, which were also a way to like connect to my roots when I first started learning that. This piece was like the amalgamation of all of that, speaking to like, paying homage to like my Taiwanese family and Taiwanese ancestors, but also like mixing in who I am today and who I am now, and what influences I have here in America. And the bodysuit was also Sean's idea, like excellent thing. And I was like, it might be challenging, but I think it just change, like, there's the screen, and you like run behind and put the sleeves on, or something like that. But art drives and challenge and obstacles. So I think what came about was very much trying to pay homage to, like in my movement, I have like, my past and my ancestors, and then my present and my modern. And I'm bringing them together, and it's sort of like ties in. So that was like,
Yeah, I just want to this is the first piece of dance I've ever commissioned, and it was commissioned specifically for you because I knew your background with the Chinese dance background, with the open choreography background, but I also knew like Southeast Asia Hokkien, there is this like, and in Taiwanese, there's this like long-standing like fusion of like rap or hip hop themes with like Chinese opera, and so we wanted to find a combination that like speaks to that, to both the international nature of that as well as the intergenre nature. And so like if you listen to the first song that's gonna come up in the elevator music lineup after the show, like which is our dedication song. It's also a piece which has like hip hop or rap components to it, but it also has like mainland opera. So this is a Henghwa opera sleeves piece from mainland China, but the song is by a Malaysian artist, and but the cover is by a Taiwanese artist. So it's very much min bridges, as it were, but also very much, but in those diversity that can be a source of conflict. But if we have anything to say about it, the future will be built of bridges of love.
Nice one to wrap up on if you feel good about closing.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, thank you so much, everybody, for. I presume you guys can hear me, yeah? All right. So, thank you so much, everybody, for coming to our show. It is a great privilege to have an audience. We've done this just for one person, but to have 2 sold-out shows as the premiere of a new ethnic dance company in the Bay Area and during Bay Area Dance Week and AAPI Heritage Month, when there's like 20 shows in the city going on right now. It's like, I appreciate and we appreciate that you came here to us. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. I want to particularly call out our really deep technical team and behind-the-scenes team, starting with Rebs. Like, what kind of company has its own in-house dramaturg in their first season? Or an in-house lighting designer that can run tech for 2.5 months so we don't do it in a furious sprint on the day up. But also, like, not here with us, Jimmy Wing and Sophie, are you here? Sophie? Yeah, there we go. Sophie, our Carnatic vocalist, full member of our company, like, can go to traveling guest performances on an equal basis with all members of our company. We really do have a deep technical and behind-the-scenes artistic bench, which enables us to do things like release the first Taiwanese cover of Spring that has ever been shown. It was shown at this show by Stephanie's grandma and cousin, right? Translated by Stephanie's mom, but also remixed and mastered by us, by BAICD Resources. So it's really a privilege to have all of these resources here. I also want to give a special shout out to Shami Dance Company founders, Eshibasa and thank you so much for taking this chance on us. And I'm just a person of like these scribbled insanity on a piece of paper. No proof that it would end up like this, but you worked with us, you were able to take a chance on this story, and I think it really means a lot not only to work with such talented people with such vision, with such a good organization of show. Those chapter titles are very much from their production of Fechan, but also to show and prove that like it says Chinese dance on the cover, but we really are open to everybody. And remember all of that when audition season comes around. But thank you very much. And I want to close finally. My sister, Serena Lee, was there at the pre-show and is going to be outside there. Her bakery, Kenning Street Coffee, is a Malaysian-American inspired sweet shop, and today it is a special menu composed specifically for this of a number of Minnan, Hokkien, Hainanese treats for you, so we encourage you all to enjoy it. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you to my amazing castmates for taking a chance on this insane production. I never really woke up one day wanting to like head a company myself, but to do it for you and to do it to put your art and your stories and your families on the best stage possible with the best audience possible, that is really what makes it worth it. So thank you so much. Oh yeah, last picture.
明仔才过来。Tomorrow one more time，明仔才过来。你一定爱，明仔才过来。明仔才过来。